What up, everybody, and welcome to Baz on Blades. My name is Baz, and I talk about blades, and I know you've already seen the title of the video, and I want to get right into it because there's a lot to talk about on this blade. We've got another product from Petrified Fish. We've got the Warrior, and this is the full-size Warrior, and I'll talk about sizes a little bit later, as you know. I did pick up this Petrified Fish Warrior from Justin at White Mountain Knives. Go check him out. I don't get a dime from it in any way. He's just good to us. So this is the second Petrified Fish product that I have reviewed here recently. The first being the Victor flipper folder with the blue micarta and the clip point blade. Now we've got the Warrior. This is a much more swooshy, sort of tactical, fighting knife sort of look to it. Nice aggressive look without being overblown and cartoonish. It is a full-size knife. I've been very impressed with Petrified Fish for what they give at their price points. And speaking of price point, from Justin at White Mountain Knives, these range, the different models of the full size range from $51.99 to $62.99, so like $11 price point there. One cool thing about Petrified Fish is this model is offered in two different blade finishes, mixed up between 6 or 8 different handle material choices. And let's go ahead and talk about that elephant in the room right there. Look at that. This is one of the G10 gmascus options that they offer. They've also got one that's in like an OD green and black, same type of patterning. And I bet it looks badass too. This knife, everywhere, guys. And when you pick it up, it's not cheap feeling. It feels like machined G10 of high quality, and you get that look. And it's sort of a, you know, this is gmascus, and other companies use it, but they grind it on from a different direction, and this is ground on the bias. That's why we get these sort of end grain patterns, is what I'm assuming this is. This is the same sort of gmascus other people use, but instead of grinding at it from this end, this side, and seeing the end grain, they would grind from the top where you would get this grain revealed across layers, I think. I don't know. I've never made the stuff, and I've never ground any of it, but it freaking looks fantastic. And okay, we're going to come back to that. We're just spending too much time. We're going to run into a 3-hour-long video. So, again, price point wise, this particular model, it was $56.99. Throw in one of White Mountain Knives 10% discount codes. It's down to $48.44. I think by the time we get to the end of this video, I will have given you the information you need and a close enough look where you can decide if it's going to be worth that $48.44 to you. To me, it was. I very much enjoy this knife. Let's go ahead and take a look at the packaging here. We're going to be very quick on this because there's like 14,000 different things. It's like a survival kit in a box almost. This is a Petrified Fish packaging here, slide box. You've got an end label. This is what you are looking for this red, black gmascus version. Of course, made in China. It is a Chinese brand. Inside the box, you're going to find a whole bunch of crap. This is a hang tag that's on the knife inside the Ziploc bag. So we'll set that aside. This is a lanyard that has absolutely nothing to do with knives in any shape, form, or fashion. This is a beaded, double adjustable lanyard with the thin, strong cord tie-off sort of deal going on here that you see on camera lanyards a lot. The ends are cut ends. I don't know why. I'm wondering if they just got these from somewhere, because this part of the lanyard should not have cut ends. That could actually be a factory defect from somebody that made lanyards, and then they were like, well, shit, what are we going to do with them? It's probably a company connected with Petrified Fish. They throw it in to us. We've got a choice. We can tie it, okay, and it's a lanyard again. So I don't know, guys. That's just what I'm thinking. You'll also get extra screws, and we're going to talk about screws later on. There are 2 different lengths of screws in there, 2 different lengths of screws on the knife, and then you're going to get an embossed with the Petrified Fish embossing on it, microfiber cleaning cloth that is so very popular. I've got one microfiber cleaning cloth I use to clean all my knives, and then 600 more of them in little plastic baggies all over the place. So the Petrified Fish Warrior, let's go ahead and get the numbers out of the way, and we're looking at a full-size knife, 3.5-inch blade, and that's about 9 centimeters. The blade width is just a scotch over 1 inch or 26 millimeters. Blade stock thickness, 150 thousandths of an inch or 3.8 millimeters. Your handle length is 5 inches even. That's 12.5 centimeters. Handle width at the widest point, 1 1/10 inches, 29 millimeters. And handle thickness right at about average, 550 thousandths of an inch or 14 millimeters. The overall length on this full-size knife is 8.5 inches or 21.5 centimeters. Stop pin diameter, 137 thousandths of an inch or 3.5 millimeters. Behind the edge thickness, I had to go back and recheck it. I checked it in 3 places on the blade. The average is just a hair over 12 thousandths or 0.32 millimeter. This is a very slicey grind. This primary grind, very thin behind the edge and a well done factory edge on this thing. So 12 thousandths behind the edge. Handle to blade ratio, 70%. And we've got another knife to bring out here. We are going to look at that. It's a well-known knife for being sort of handle heavy. We're going to compare them. Weight, 4.62 ounces or 131 grams. Sorry, lightweight guys, it is over that 1 ounce per inch of blade length ratio you want to hit, and you can feel it, okay? I'm not going to say 4.62 ounces is not heavy for you guys. It's not heavy for me, but it does feel more substantial than you would typically find in a G10 handled knives with nested liners. You know how that affects the feel of a knife. So they've given us nice heavy liner stock and G10 stock, and it stays really stiff at that weight. It actually feels decent. I mean, that's up to you, but it feels decent to me. Material-wise, we're looking at K110 tool steel in the blade. That is Böhler Uderholm's version of D2. It is the same thing as D2. Now, we may see some benefit because Böhler is a world-class segment leading producer of specialty steels. They have a very good reputation behind all their mixes. Their alloying is good. They run clean steel. Saying that you're using a Böhler steel is a positive in any project. But it's still just D2. It's going to perform like D2. It's going to take a moderately thin, toothy edge to it. The initial sharpness goes away, not real quick, but it's okay. It's mid-grade. But it leaves behind a bunch of big old fat carbides along the edge, and it becomes a toothy, aggressive sort of micro sawing cutter. And it strops pretty well. It strops pretty well for me, and I'm just stropping it on plain cardstock, like the back cardstock off of a notepad. It's not stainless. It's semi-stainless, the same as D2, because that's what it is. So, modicum of care. This does have a coating with a very fine looking stonewash, black stonewash on it. Very nice. I don't know what the initial coating is, but it is very smooth and has a very hard surface feel. So it's probably like a PVD, I would think. It has that feeling to it, with the stonewash over that, of course. K110 is okay with me at $48.44, especially with this stunning handle material and explosive action. Let's take a look at that G10, talking about materials, and I've already broke into it and talked about it. You know what I think. It is just stunning. We're going to take a very close look all the way around. Black G10 backspacer, and I want to take a very close look at the butt end and the joiner between those three pieces. It is damn near perfect. It is a very good at $48. So we're going to come around here. Let's refocus. Come around here, take a look. You've got something from every direction with this handle material. It reveals three-dimensionally, and I love materials like that. Stainless steel small parts, black finished. Again, they do come with a bag of replacement screws, and you are probably going to need them. This is going to be the only negative I say about this knife, and the T6 screws that are in the body and the pocket clip, the socketing on them is not quite as deep as I would like to see on T6. It's well cut. No issues with the threading on the screws. Other than that, the screws feel really nice, but the socketing is a little shallower than I would like to see. I actually disassembled this knife, did an initial cleanup on it because it was pretty wet out of the box. And when I put this back together, I stripped the longer of the two pocket screws, the one closer to the tail end. I stripped that screw, drawing down the tension from this pocket clip because it's got a tensioning bend down on this end of it. So when you start to screw that bottom plate down and the tension comes against the clip at this point, you've got to screw through that tension. And I was incrementally doing it, but it's T6, guys, and I got distracted and I went just a little bit off center, and that was enough. That was enough. So thankfully it does come with screws. And if I have an issue with that one, I'll go ahead and pull it out and change it. But that's T6 screws. I'd like to see those a little deeper. I believe the cap on the pivot is steel. It is silkscreen, probably, with their logo. I don't know if that's an actual etch. It could be a light etching, guys. That may be what it is. Plain black for the back. Titanium deep carry pocket clip. And there is plenty of tension on it, and it's a good design too. In my hand, I know there's a pocket clip there, but I do not get the feeling and have not seen any hot spotting in long-term use. That's what you're looking at as far as a pocket clip. From the back end of it, it is falling. Even the tip is falling, but you've still got plenty of underneath the tip for thick material. Like I say, plenty of tension there. Not too awful bad on that. And if you do not like the Petrified Fish logo on this pocket clip, you can etch that titanium out. You could 9-volt battery anodize it multiple different colors by stacking batteries up and buy everything you need, at a Walmart probably. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. At $48, titanium deep carry pocket clip. Material wise, seems pretty good. Like I say, nice thick steel liners there. They are weight relieved front and back to bring it down to that 4.6 ounces. Excuse me. So there was an attempt there by Petrified Fish to bring that weight down. It feels substantial. It feels balanced in the hand, and it feels like a tool. So quality-wise, pretty good there. I'd like to see those T6s socketed a little bit deeper. Other than that, looks really, really good, guys. Fit and finish on the blade is just like on the Victor. It is perfect. The grinds are perfect. The finishing is perfect. The secondary bevel, the edge bevel is perfect. The tip is really, really good. Very sharp, not rolled at all. Instantly catches. As you touch it, it catches and pierces. So very good there. This is a harpoon profile. Now, something to consider when you talk about harpoon blade profiles is the percentage of poon that's in the blade. Now, we know this is K110, but you cannot make a harpoon blade unless you add poon to the blade. Now, this does not have an extremely high amount of poon in it. Not like the Kaiser Maverick harpoon. It's got a little more poon in it. Say this one's probably about 90% poon, and then this one is about 79% poon. So keep that in mind, all of you harpoon aficionados. Fit and finish, though, is fantastic. You've got a crowned spine. There is no jimping, but in the design, you've got this dish here. My thumb falls right into it. That offset from the forward finger choil to your thumb placement is so critical, and this is perfect for me. Whether it works for you or not, I don't know. You know, you might have Bigfoot size hands and it might not line up. You might have extra small hands and you feel like you got to choke up on it. But it's a really, really good handle as far as the ergos and the fit and finish. I can't find any flaws with the fit and finish. The machining on the G10 is sublime. There is a micro mill texture on the surface, but it is very light. It does give you some nice tackiness on the surface. It's just beautifully machined material. I'm going to say one thing for Petrified Fish. Their fit and finish is just fantastic at their price point. I have not gotten a knife from them that was over $60, I don't think, and they've all been perfect fit and finish wise. They've all been perfect, guys. I can't fault them anything on that. Look at that material. This is like a sort of a Deadpool sort of warrior here. If it's not already being called that in this colorway. So, ergonomics on the handle, utilitarian use on the blade profile are also excellent. If you keep in mind, this is a pointy, stabby, swoopy sort of design. This is not a wood craft knife. So if you take this out and you want to do feather sticks and notching with it, and then you come back later and say, well, this motherfucker sucks. This damn thing sucks. It doesn't suck. You just suck at picking knives. So keep that in mind while I'm talking about utilitarian use and ergonomics. Yeah, you've got a harpoon. Let's call it a drop point. You've got continuous belly for at least 70% of the cutting edge length. The cutting edge length. Let's bring out the comparison knife for this, and we're going to bring out the Spyderco Paramilitary 2, which is known to be fairly inefficient as far as its handle to blade ratio goes. I'm lining these up by the front of the handle, so it gives me a true aspect for individual handle length, individual blade length. You can see the blade lengths, the Warrior is about a 1/16 of an inch longer in overall blade length, but you're about a 1/4 of an inch longer on cutting edge. Handle length-wise, as long as the handle is on the Paramilitary 2, the handle is a little bit longer, almost a full 1/4 inch longer on the Warrior. So that's the type of handle to blade ratio you're looking at. I think it's so close as far as the lengths go. The major differences are in the widths of the profile. The Warrior is much more narrow than the Paramilitary 2 is. Weight-wise, similar builds. They are within about a half an ounce of each other in my two variants here. All right. Just slightly over, like 0.6 of an ounce difference, with the Paramilitary 2 and the carbon fiber being slightly lighter. So I think overall that's the sort of thing you're going to be looking at as far as carry, utilitarian use, feel of this thing. The handle it's just wide open except for a moderate finger choil. It's not so deep and sharp and closed in that it's restricting. But it's not so large that it starts falling out under both fingers. Okay, it does not do that. It is just right in a relaxed sort of feel. You've got the flipper tab here working as sort of a semi-guard, so it's very as far as being able to hold the retention in a forward-backward stabby sort of motion, no issues there. But the rest of the handle is wide open, and it feels that way. You've got a nice ergonomic drop towards the butt end with the inside of the handle dropping down. It does not give you a bird's beak, but it does give you that sort of almost pistol handle sort of, pistol grip sort of fit. It feels pretty good. I mean, this is in my large hands with medium fat fingers, and you can see the fit, the grip in a natural grip here. You can see exactly how my hand falls naturally, guys. It's curved like your hand is. Your hand doesn't have flat planes. It feels really, really good. Really good in the hands. There is something I would suggest to petrified fish, and that would be to come around the inside of the handle scales and do a slight chamfer there. They are not sharp, okay? They are not sharp. But the more sensitive handle guys might say something about the inside edges. They're crisp. They are crisp, and it is well machined, tightly machined. So I can feel that a little bit. I noticed I was cutting cardboard, and I was cutting for a few minutes, guys. I had quite a bit to cut down, and I started feeling that edge a little bit. I didn't have any hot spots, but I could feel it. So somebody more sensitive, which I don't consider myself to be sensitive to that stuff, they might want a chamfer on that back side. So I see I got something white. All right, so what are we on there? Ergonomics, going to close out the ergonomics. Handle shape, great combination of thickness to width. The pocket clip is not intrusive. It's got a nice solid feel. When you grip it, you don't feel it flexing all over the place. It feels like a quality tool. There you go. Action. We got to get this going, guys. We got to get it going. I got so caught up on that handle material. Look at that. That is 100% knife porn. Okay, do not tell your wife you're looking at this. She will be so jealous. You can tell your girlfriend, because girlfriends still do stuff, but don't tell your wife, okay? Action. Very interesting. This knife is a flipper folder, liner lock, and it has an issue that is very common to liner locks, and it requires a slight tune-up if you want total drop shut action. Now, first opening, it is explosive. I have tried to fail this knife. I absolutely cannot fail this knife. You see right there. Standing straight up, that was as good as I could do, and it was still crisply opening. It's a rocket ship, fantastic detent, nice big old fat ceramic detent ball, also ceramic bearings on this flipper pivot here. The opening action is extremely satisfying, but the closing action is assisted. It has quite a bit, my example has quite a bit of liner tension. The liner lock is bent where the tension is a little high. And that pushes that blade over. So to center it, you need to snug down the pivot. My example wants a little more snug pivot. And that detent has got a ton of drag on it because of all that lock bar tension. So if you come back off of that, it's just loose floppy, guys. The bearings in the pivot are doing exactly what they should. It's all in this lock bar tension. Now, I could disassemble it. I could relieve some of that tension. As long as I've still got strong lockup, it doesn't cause any other issues. But it's centered. The action opening is explosive, which is due partially to that detent ball pressure from the lock bar tension. So if I take that away, it's going to drop that explosive feel down just a little bit. And I would prefer to have that. I mean, listen to this thing, guys. I'm not even trying. I'm not even preloading. I'm just following through off of the detent. You start preloading this thing, and it's hard, guys. I mean, it opens hard. Oh, it's fantastic. It is freaking fantastic. My example, not drop shutty. Centered, guys. Gummit, this knife looks good. Look how narrow that is closed compared to the paramilitary too. God almighty, I'm so shaky, guys. I'm sorry. That shakiness is left over from my COVID. I am still fighting that and the dizziness. I mean, look at that, guys. That's how it's going to carry. Deep carry pocket clip, regular Spyderco pocket clip. You know what? This would be considered like a premium handle material. This fat carbon Arctic, whatever it was, Arctic whatever carbon fiber from this Smoky Mountain Knife Works exclusive. That's some killer ass stuff right there, guys. Killer. That would be considered a premium handle material, and it's super duper looking. But this is, holy smokes, guys, this is awesome right here. It's got this almost geometric, landscapey, almost sort of pattern where they've cross-cut on this to use that facing on this material. I love that. I think I like it done better this way than the other companies like Hogue that are doing coming from the other direction and revealing the layers across the layers, the sort of grind that they're doing. I'm assuming that's what it is. I could be totally wrong, guys. I could be totally wrong on that. So this thing has got a lot going on for it. It's got a lot going on for it. Even with the shortcoming of that T6 screw, where I think the socketing could be a little deeper. This doesn't have false shut action on it, but it does have super explosive opening action. Guys, it's all a trade-off when you're talking $48. When you get down below $50 and you're doing a ball bearing pivot flipper with what I would consider to be a more premium handle material, titanium pocket clip. I mean, fit and finish is perfect on the blade and the handle. Again, explosive action. It is so explosive. This is a really, really good looking knife. That red and black, the black wash on the blade. It looks really, really good. This view of it from the back here, getting the black back spacer in, it looks really, really good, guys. I just think it's got a lot going for it. Not perfect, but I hardly ever hardly ever get a knife under $50, even from a fantastic company that is perfect. Luck of the draw on the drop shut action. The next one off the assembly line could have had a light detent and been a terrible flipper. The one after that could have been perfect. Then they could have run 10 or 15 perfect ones, and then that's just a variance. And all it takes sometimes is just the slightest variance in that lock bar tension. The next one that came off the line could have been perfect. And this one, you know what? I like that much more than I do the drop shuttiness. I mean, I can close that down with just a couple of shakes. It's super smooth. It's got that resistance from the tension on the detent ball from that lock bar. Yeah. Fantastic. And like I say, ton of different handle materials, different carbon fibers, different micartas. It's available in that blue micarta that I had on my Victor, also in a satin finish. I bet that looks just smexy as hell, guys. Okay, there we go. The Petrified Fish Warrior. This is the full size, 3.5 inch, 8.5 inch overall. Pretty cool, sort of stabby, aggressive looking harpoon blade profile. Fantastic handle profile, size, beautiful material in it, solid blade steel in K110, titanium pocket clip. I'm going to recommend it. You guys should check it out if you like knives like that sort of design profile. As always, I thank you very much for taking the time to watch one of my videos. One more opening. Oh my goodness. God bless all of you, and we will talk to you again.